Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now April 27th of 2020. I hope everyone out there is doing very safe with their stay-at-home order. A lot of people out there have been very curious about the future of the Star Wars franchise and everything that's going on with Star Wars at its moment right now, and what Disney and Lucasfilm have in store for the future of this franchise that's going to evolve year by year. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, the thing about Disney Star Wars is that we do know that it's a very complex franchise. We've seen this project to project with Kathleen Kennedy, right? We've seen this with The Force Awakens. We've seen this with Solo. We've seen this with the new Star Wars trilogy with David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. And it doesn't end there. We've seen this with some of the TV shows out there, like Obi-Wan Kenobi, going from a movie to a TV show, then back to a movie, and then finally back to a TV series. And now they're doing major rewrites to really take out many of Kathleen Kennedy's material and her initial plans. So I don't know if you guys have been aware, but there are a lot of changes being made over at Lucasfilm by Bob Chapek and Iger. They're working together as a team to really propel Marvel and Star Wars throughout this major crisis that's happening around the world, and they want to make it as successful as it really can be. Star Wars, of course. They want to make it as powerful as the MCU, which, to me, as of this moment right now, I think that's going to be a very difficult thing to accomplish. But I think that since it's Disney and they really can put their mind to it, and if they really do follow specific guidelines of what fans love to see, I think that they can really reach that plateau if they really do want to. The thing is of course, one specific project that a lot of fans are very angry over, and this all has to do with the one project that Kathleen Kennedy, by contract, is allowed to have creative control over, is the new Star Wars story that's going to be an all-female Star Wars story for Disney+. Now, on top of all of this, alright, what's really intriguing is that now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are finished with The Rise of Skywalker, they are focused on the new Star Wars trilogy of films, as well as the new Star Wars universe. Now, currently Disney and Lucasfilm have a plan in order to reunite the fans around the world to create a better future for the Star Wars franchise. As of right now, Disney has over 10 years worth of Star Wars projects in the works for Disney Plus alone. However, one major detail that may upset fans is that at least one project by contract needs to be developed that was actually put together by Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy. Granted that Kathleen Kennedy's creative power has been stripped away, and of course on Star Wars, and that Disney plans to replace Kathleen Kennedy sometime soon in the near future, it's noted that by contract, Kennedy was allowed to have at least one project make its way over onto Disney Plus for the Star Wars universe, where Kennedy was able to hire Leslye Headland from Russian Dolls, who will be developing an all-female Star Wars story for the fans. However, in recent days, fans have been against Leslie's point of view on Star Wars and how it should be approached, since she aims to throw in many identity politics into her Star Wars series and her own personal agendas and real-world issues into these new Star Wars episodes of this specific Star Wars series. Now, the upside to all of this is that this will be Kennedy's only major project that will make its way onto Disney Plus, that she has any form of creative control over by contract for at least one project, that of course being this one. And that Disney's Bob Iger and Chapek are said to not be happy at all with Kennedy's decision of hiring Leslye Headland, and that by contract it implies that they don't have the power necessarily to remove Leslye Headland from this Star Wars project too soon, unless under specific circumstances are put into account for the project's success or failure. It's explained that Leslye Headland wants to completely change how fans view the Star Wars franchise, at least with this project, and that she wants to create a different nature for Star Wars in general in her TV series that will bring in all the identity politics as possible to its maximum. Now, to me, this is a disaster. I mean, this really is a recipe for disaster. We've talked about this before back in December, that identity politics do not sit well with a lot of normal people out there. You know, in my opinion at least, nobody wants identity politics, and I'm most certainly one of them. You know, when I looked at The Rise of Skywalker, was it dialed down a bit? It was dialed down a bit, but it was still there. The Last Jedi really kind of overused that by Rian Johnson, and the storytelling just was not great. The agendas were in there, you could see it, and you can see it in Star Wars in general. So, this one project that made its way over to Disney Plus is going to be done by Leslye Headland, which, by the way, if you guys have listen to any of her interviews on Star Wars, she sounds crazy. I mean, just go ahead and look it up. She's all over, and it doesn't seem like that she really knows what in the world the fans really want. Star Wars is a story. You know, if you want an all-female Star Wars story, fine. But it has to have a good story. You can't just make it all-female, led just for the sake of making it an all-female Star Wars story. That's my take on things. You know, when you look at it like that, they're just forcing it, and it's all shoehorned, and that means that there's going to be no story behind all of this, and it's just basically their way to promote their own agenda with throwing the Star Wars label on top of it. There's even a lot of women out there that are against this as well. Of all these different articles, I believe it was, what was it, Variety or one of the major websites that actually talked about the project at first, that was the only thing that they really could talk about. You know, it was just all female-led Star Wars story. There was no baseline of where it would take place, or what it would be, or, you know, maybe what era it would take place in. They could have done something like that, in my point of view. So with that being said, guys, you know, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.